Welcome back to SNT, where you get the top 10 space news stories in less than 10 minutes. Starting out at number 10, and I don't even really know why I'm mentioning this aside from my clickbait thumbnail, but it seems since before Thanksgiving, New Jersey has experienced a drone invasion. Is it aliens, foreign entities, our own government, PSYOP, or just some weekend warriors with cheap drones from Amazon flying in their backyards? Apparently, nobody knows, including our own government. Whatever the case, it seems to be dominating the news cycle. What does it have to do with space? Well, it might be UAP activity, although I kind of doubt it. Moving on. Coming in at number 9, on Friday, December 13th, SpaceX proposed to Cameron County, Texas, that they vote to incorporate Starbase, Texas as its own city. SpaceX states that this move will help them grow and provide services for its employees and will benefit the entirety of Southeast Texas and Northeast Mexico. Brownsville and South Padre Island are now a boom town with the creation of the infrastructure surrounding Starbase and experiencing growing tourism, particularly since the successful booster catch during Starship Test Flight 5. The petition is still awaiting Cameron County response to allow it to occur, and some groups from the lower Rio Grande Valley are opposed to the incorporation. However, the economics of SpaceX to the entire RGV area are undeniable. Coming in at number 8, on Tuesday, December 10th, just after publishing last week's video, NASA's Mars rover Perseverance successfully peered over the rim of the Jezero crater after a months-long climb up to its rim. This photo in the background was taken by Perseverance on December 10th, just as it rose above the rim of the Jezero crater for the first time. During the over 3-month climb by the little rover that could, Perseverance had climbed 1,640 vertical feet. That's incredible. Perseverance will now set out on a new exploration and research campaign dubbed the Northern Rim by NASA's JPL. The success of Perseverance and its drone ingenuity have been a proud accomplishment by NASA on behalf of the entire world. Coming in at number 7, astronaut Don Pettit recently appeared in a live broadcast with NASA Spaceflight, NSF. Link to the video is in the expanded description box below, where he outlined how he used star tracking equipment to take extended exposure and time-lapse photos from the International Space Station. Last month, Don Pettit was lucky enough to be flying over Mexico towards Texas just as SpaceX Flight Test 6 was departing from Starbase on November the 19th. He got photos of the launch from ISS. You know that Starship is big when you can see it launch from space. Check out the full interview with NASA Spaceflight. It was very interesting, and the NSF crew is so awesome to land that live interview with direct comms to Pettit aboard the International Space Station. Coming in at number 6, NASA updated the new Moon and Mars exploration mission documents this week. They wrote several white papers with potential strategies for exploration and colonization missions to both Moon and Mars. The most interesting item I saw was the potential for the use of fission reactors, nuclear reactors, for power supply on Mars, because fission was least likely to be affected by Martian temperatures, sunlight, and dust storms. Tell me what you think about nuclear power on Mars in the comments. I'll paste a link to NASA's docs in the expanded description box below the video. Coming in at number 5, a hypersonic missile capable of speeds up to Mach 5 was tested from the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station on Friday, December 13, 2024. The missile was the Common Hypersonic Glide Body designed by Leidos and was a test flight for a weapon system in development by Lockheed Martin for use by the U.S. Army and U.S. Navy. This was its second successful test flight of this system. Coming in at number 4, Blue Origin CEO Dave Limp stated that the reason there had been no test fire as of yet is that Blue Origin is still awaiting regulatory approval. So we're still hopeful for a 2024 flight of the New Glenn if the FAA and FCC and other federal bureaucratic institutions will go ahead with licensure grants so we can get on with it. January 20th can't come soon enough to expedite these regulatory approvals. With China iterating at a fantastic pace, our national security requires that Blue Origin, SpaceX, Rocket Lab, ULA, and others be granted the ability to similarly rapidly iterate their test pieces with minimal government interference. And Dave Limp also posted this cool photo of Blue Origin's cool mechanized robot that secures the booster once it lands on their barge. That's pretty awesome. Check it out. Coming in at number 3, Falcon 9. While we had a bunch of scrubs on the East Coast due to weather, we had a launch from the West Coast at Vandenberg, and this was the 100th landing of a Falcon 9 on a drone ship per year. This was landing on, of course, I Still Love You, off the coast of California. Coming in at number 2, Starship 33 heads out to the Massey test flight for pre-flight testing. Thank you, NSF, for this footage. Link to them in the description. Ship 33 has undergone a spin prime and is currently awaiting a test fire. This is the last testing campaign for Ship 33 prior to the full stack and test flight for Test Flight 7. Once the test fire happens on Ship 33, it'll be inspected and then stacked upon Booster 14 at the launch site, where the stack will undergo a wet dress rehearsal and then Test Flight 7. Starship Flight Test 7 will mirror the profiles of Flights 5 and 6, with a potential booster catch and Starship landing in the Indian Ocean just west of Australia. Now the question is, does Flight 7 happen in 2024? Because the FAA license is already there, and the FCC license was granted last week, good for launch anytime after December 14th. So it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And just like that, on the evening of December the 15th, Ship 33 was test fired at Massey's. Kind of related, SpaceX released on X platform these shots of the Booster 14 test fire. So now that the testing campaign is over with, the next thing we should see is exactly this: a full stack of the booster and Starship waiting for a wet dress rehearsal. And coming in at number 1, on Tuesday, December 10th, Chinese national Yanpao Zhu was arrested at San Francisco International Airport just prior to boarding his flight to China by the FBI for flying a drone illegally outside of Vandenberg Space Force Base. The 11:30 launch at Vandenberg Space Force Base was of a Falcon 9 rocket, which had a payload from the National Reconnaissance Office launch, which is NROL. Zhu was released on his own recognizances by the presiding magistrate. You have to love California, releasing a spy from China with no bond. This story is number 1 this week, not because it's the best rocket story, but because it's illustrative of just what we are currently facing with China. China will stop at nothing to win the space race and to subvert our national security. This story is number 1 because it should serve as a wake-up call to citizens and patriots about the dangers of our newest adversary, China. They are not our friends. That's it for this week. We'll see you next Tuesday.